Hello everyone. Can you guys hear me? Hello. Hello. I don't know if you guys can hear me, but you can put it in the comment section. Let's see. Okay, you are here, Agbola. So I'm just going to share my screen and say, let's get started. Okay, everyone is here now. So you can see my face. The network is a little bit bad, so I have to ensure that you guys can hear me and you can also see my screen. So can everyone confirm they can see my screen? Okay, you can see my screen. I would like to for someone to put it in the chat. So I'm well assured that I'm carrying everyone along. Okay, so my name is Babatunde Ahmed. So I'll just get started to it then. Your tutor for today, and I am a Microsoft Learn Student Ambassador, like the organizers of this writing streak. So today I'll just touch on what we have to do. So the agenda for today is to teach you guys how to add codes and images to your article and how to self edit. So we'll get started. But first, I would like more people to join. You can put into the chat where you're joining from today. I think most people should be joining from Lagos because I've been monitoring the WhatsApp activities. So just put into the chat where you're joining from today so we can have like a more interactive session. So I'll be expecting that. So while we do that, let me just load up my entire screen so it's much more better. Okay, Samuel is joining us from Ife. Ogunlusi is joining us from Ibadan, and Agola is joining us from Ile Ife too. Oh, two people from Ife. Man, uh, that's crazy. So let me just present my entire screen then, so we're on the same page. Okay then. Should I stop sharing now? Okay, so thank you for putting to the chat where you're joining from. I'm joining from Lagos. Yeah, I'm also joining from Lagos, like Ayokumi. So today's class is going to be short because it's weekend and I'm sure everybody have like things to do. But one of the major goals for today's class is to teach you guys how to format your code in Markdown and also add images, as well as the last content for today's class is how to do a self edit, and I'll explain what that means. But let's get straight to it. So I have this article from Free Code Camp that I've been using for quite a while. So anytime I need to learn how to format code in Markdown, so for you guys that you know, like going into the technical side, you need to add your code to your technical um course or article that article rather that you are putting out there. So there are two ways of like adding code to Markdown. You can either use the inline, which has like a backticks of a line, or you can use a code block, which renders some syntax highlighting too. So basically, for you to add a code to your article, you can use the inline code or the multi-line code. I'm going to do a demo of how that works and a tool you can use as well to make things a little bit simpler, because so that you don't make any error. So for inline means just one line. So you can add just a one-line code or multi-line code. So if you want to use inline formatting with to emphasize a small command or a piece of syntax you are writing, you can use um, this right here. Let me just go down. This example right here, the backticks, you use it probably twice or once if you're using just an inline. So let's say for an example, you wish to mention JavaScript array prototype.map method, and you want to explain how people can use it, or you won't even want to like explain how people can install a package um, on your article. You can use this. You can see this example right here. You can use this particular backticks to explain that explicitly that okay, this is a code that you can input whenever you are taking this, you are following through my article. So for instance, you write the backticks and the command you want to put, and it will render as this right here. This is the end result. So if you're a little bit confused, don't be confused. I would go through an example of how to do this so that we go through the journey together. And also I'll share like resources you can use, including this article. So also write code blocks. So sometimes you might want to write more than one line of code. So there's a way you can add um, multi-line code. You can add it to your article. So to write longer or more detailed snippets of code, it is often better to insert them into a code block. Code blocks allow you to use multi-lines and and Markdown will then render it inside your own box with type font. As you've learned that Markdown is a way of writing, like it's an hypertext markup language somehow that allows you to translate something in Markdown to like normal text. And many platforms that publish articles or where you'll be writing your article will require you to write your code in Markdown. So, and I'm sure that previous to this class, a tutor has taken you on Markdown, if I'm correct. Is that correct? Someone can just put it there. Has a tutor taken your Markdown before? I just want to be sure so that all this doesn't look strange to you guys. Yes or no? You can put it in the chat box. I said to this, okay, yeah, so that's good. A tutor has taken your Markdown, which is good. So, like I mentioned, you want to carry the audience along. Like if you're explaining how to install something, you want to be showing them the prompt, the code, the parameters, and all of that. So one way of doing that is using the code syntax. So you can use a backtick, It's not complicated. If it's a single line, use one backticks or two, and you put the code. It's going to show like this. And I'm still going to do a demo, just reiterating. So to achieve a multi-line or a code block, you have to use three backticks, and this signals to Markdown that you're creating a code block. So you need to finish another line with another um, line of three backticks. It's just like you're closing a function. If you're familiar with programming language, you need to open like curly braces, curly brackets, and close it with a curly bracket. Code blocks or a single line of code in Markdown also works that way. You need to open it to the single line, a single backtick, and close it with a single backtick, as explained. Right here, you can see it's being closed with a single backtick, or you open it with three backticks, or you close it with the backticks as well. So you have to keep it consistent. You can't create two and close with three. It will signal it as an error. So you can see right here, this render Markdown as this. Once you add this in your Markdown file, it will render it as this. So also for syntax highlighting, so normally in Markdown, you don't have a way of like highlighting syntax. What I mean by highlighting syntax is you can see right here that you have this colors that is being added to your Markdown. So while it is not natively, when I mean it's not natively, if you are just using Markdown for the first time to add your code, you won't get these extra features. So so many developers have found a way to make Markdown much more attractive. So they've added much more flavor to it. They've built a way whereby you can, if you add a particular programming language, it's going to highlight some of the variables and all of that. This means that by telling Markdown what language you are using inside the code, it will add colors that an IDE would like. So if you are using GitHub, if you had the Markdown, it's automatically going to highlight it for you. But if you're just using like the plain Markdown in your VS Code, sometimes it doesn't give you that um, flavor or that particular format. So you can there are different types of markdowns that are available, and there are different ones that you can use. But if you're getting started, I don't think it's quite necessary for you to be adding colors and all of that, just for some people's reference. So for those of you that like this, you can add this you can do this by adding the name of the language on the same line as your opening backticks. So for example, you put the backticks, you put JavaScript. I'm just going through the theoretical parts. You have these resources. You put the backticks, you put uh, JS, and it will highlight JavaScript. It will impute JavaScript highlighting to your code. So you can see right here, this is a variable that has a function. So you can see it's having a different color for the variable, is having a different color for the function, and the return. You can see it's all neatly formatted. But yeah, if you're a color type, you can do this. So syntax highlighting can just be used to more than one programming language. So you can use it to JavaScript, you can use it with Python or any um, uh, type of code at all. So you can also specify HTML, Ruby. You can see you open it up with this, and you can see Ruby. If you write in Ruby, if you write in Python, you can see AB, and you have all of this. So that's it for adding code. So now let's move into um oh, the screen is blurry. Is it still blurry? Hello? Can everyone see my screen? I got a feedback from Morgan that the screen is blurry. Can everyone confirm the screen is quite clear? Can you guys hear me? Okay. Okay, Chinaza is mentioning that it's not blurry from his side. So I think, Morgan, you might try to refresh your browser. Maybe it's going to work. So I'll move on to the practical side, because all what I've just said is just the theoretical side, but it's good for us to have an introduction so that we can then know the standard for doing things. So I'll move on to, okay, it's clear. Thank you. So I'll move on to the, let me just share a new screen. So it's, let me clear this out. So this is a tool that I use. It's called Stack Edit. So I'll just show my screen. This tool is called Stack Edit. It's used for an in-browser markdown editor. This is one of the most favorite tools I use. So you can see I'm introducing you to a tool that I use. It's called Stack Edit, and it's allows you to write markdown in the browser, and you can have different kinds of you can store it to your Google Drive. If you have a Google account, you can store it to your Drive. You can store it to your GitHub account. You can add it to Dropbox. They have different amazing extension or even connections that you can do. You can do crazy amount of things. These are things that you can do, and they have a pretty much good documentation that you can read up on as well. So let's say this is my account. I'm opening up a new file. You guys can. I'm going to send the link. You guys can also try it as well. So let me send it in the chats so you guys can try as I'm doing it. If you're on your phone, you can do it on your phone as well. You don't have to be on a laptop. So this is an in browser. You don't have to have mark down your VS Code. Let me see it. So I'm sending it to you guys right now. You can use Stack Edit. It's quite good, like very, very good. So I would continue. Someone's to mention is bloggy. I don't know. Okay, Adeleke too can see it. Okay, this you can increase your resolution if it's blurry to you. Please do that. So I would go ahead to start writing. So let's say let's do it. I love pizza. So I'm sure someone has introduced you guys to this thing. What's the name? Markdown commands header. Let's do this is a small header here. Header. I'm sorry. Header. So you can see I can put this is my name. So it's automatically like giving you the same feedback. Like you put a markdown, it's going to put it like in a normal template. So it's good, like right? Like you can check, you can come back here, you can continue writing, you can view it. It's a very good tool for you to get accustomed to markdown. So this is my first markdown. So I'm sure that someone have introduced you guys on how to write markdown templates, but I'll move on to the next one here. We want to add code to this. Let's say how to create Python code in markdown. Okay, so we have this. How do we add our line of Python, or we want to install pip or any module at all? So we have different. Stack Edit makes it easy. If you're a first time learner of using Markdown, you can do bold. So it's automatically going to do everything for you. You don't even have to like input the Markdown as I'm doing earlier. So it's going to do it for you if you want to do that. But I want to add code, don't I? So if I come here, so let's see. If I click on this icon here, it's going to add the code. Let's say I want to add let me see, my name is oh no, that's I was thinking pip install pandas. For example, this is a Python command. I come out of here. This so if I input on that thing, it's a multi-line way of writing code. So if I just want a single line, so you have to explicitly tell this inline browser that you want a single line. So you use the backtick. So when I use to backtick, pip install, oh sorry, pip, oh sorry, I think I'm missing out something. Oh, I think that's it. I think my network is messing with me. I think I have to put, okay, I have to close it down. Pip install pandas. So you can see it's a single line. So if I come to the next time, this is how to install pandas. So you can see I can put it at the top and come here and just put it here. So you can see this is how to install pandas in Python. So you can do this. It's going to neatly format everything for you, and you have a very pretty way. But if I want to do multi-line or code block, I just use three, and I put my name. No, sorry. Var. Why am I thinking JavaScript? Sorry. Let's do something. Let's say name equals to Babatunde in string. Babatunde, and I am closing it out. I have to put this on a new line, and I close it out with the backticks. Name equals to Babatunde, email equals to Tunde at Gmail, Tunde@gmail.com. So you can see it. So it's this, as explained, that we with two backticks we create a single line of writing code. With multi backticks we create this multi line of inputting code. So you have the Babatunde, you have the email, you can add multiple stuff. Let's say you want to add like a function beneath, you can just put it function please you can add that, you can just do return Sunday or dev name map add name other names. You can just do this other name. So you can do return, you can just concatenate both of them together, other name, or you can put this in, sorry, this standard. Let's follow the standard here. So you can do this. You can see I'm adding, I've created, first of all, I install pandas or any module. You can also like do whatever stuff you want to do with it. You can also add like the name, email, and you can add like a function to the same. This is a code block. I'm adding my other name to it. Let's say you now want to run it, you just do add name, and you can do everything like add name. I'm just showing more examples that we can use, like add name to, let's say, Idris, something like that. Idris, I don't know if it's correct. Idris. So it's going to return it. So if I want to, it's going to return it, or if I want to print any other stuff, or if I even want to like, let's say, I want to like put something. This is a function. I can just put it automatically. Someone will know that if someone copies this code and add it to their Python file, they would automatically know that this is a function. It's going to outline everything for them. So this is a simple way. But one thing we don't have is the syntax highlighting. So this inline code browser doesn't have that, except you are using like VS Code. If you go to one of their extensions, they have like good extensions, but I wouldn't say you should worry too much about um the syntax highlighting. Yeah, just focus on getting the basics of adding your code to it. Then most people don't really care about the syntax highlighting. It's just for those that like very curious about colors and all of that. But for most articles I've written, I don't hardly do I use syntax highlighting. If it comes, I go with it, but it depends on where you're also publishing your article, if they support that kind of stuff. So yeah, I'll then take questions now till we go to the next session, like the next agenda. Does anybody have any question? And have you tried out the website I gave you guys? Have you imputed like anything? What's your experience with working with the in-browser markdown? Anybody? Anybody? Can you guys hear me? Hello? Are the features on Medium? Yeah. Let me check. It's been quite a while published on Medium. Let me just check. Support Markdown. Let me just check. Are these features on Medium? Yeah, you can do it on Medium. Actually, it's been a while published on on this thing, but yes, you can use Markdown on Medium. Yes, you can do that. Just send an article that you can also use for that. But it's been quite a while. Yeah, you can do all that, like syntax highlighting. Is there any particular difference between using Google Colab or StackEdit? Or no, like Markdown is general. Like each one of them have their use case. Like Google Colab is in the browser too, like except they have the offline version now. So you can for Ogulisi, yes, you can. Yeah, Markdown is a general concept, but each one of them have their flavor and all of that. But at the fundamental, it's what they have the same commands, the same way of adding codes. If you use the backticks and apply it across all platforms, you will get the same result. So syntax highlighting, yes, you can do syntax highlighting, code blocks on on Medium rather. Is this the same used in Jupyter? Yes, if Jupyter Notebook supports Markdown, it's the same thing. Markdown is universal, so each one of them would probably have extra functionality, like adding more stuff on top of it. But the basics, if you add the same code block, if you put the two backticks to create a single line, you get the same result. Yeah. More questions, please ask me more questions so I can I can clarify them. But yeah, I would why I use this particular platform is basically, so when I go back to this now, let's say I'm done with this particular article. I want to save to my, let me see. I want to save to my this thing. You can see you can save your particular article. You can save it to Google. You can synchronize to the cloud. Like publish to you can publish to any of this your GitHub. Like yes, that it's very very cool. Like you can also like download it. Let's say I want to download it now. Let me see, export. So I want to export my Markdown. Export as Markdown. So I want to export it. It will give me. You can see I've downloaded it. You can also export as PDF. Export as import as you can also import Markdown. Let's say you've written a Markdown somewhere, you can import it. It's quite good. So there are other platforms that you can use, but this is the one I currently use whenever I'm trying to write an article. And just to show you a typical example, because I like showing example quite a lot, so it's you guys are you know how to use it. Let me just open up one of the articles I've written and just come in. Let me see, Ashnode. Let me open up my Ashnode account. I write on Ashnode. But if you are using Medium, if you're using Medium, it totally supports it. So you can also use Medium to publish your articles. Let me just go and log in into my Ashnode account. Just give me a minute, guys. Yep. So let me go into Ashnode. Let me share my screen. So I have a blog on Ashnode that I do write from time to time. So I wrote a blog on how to use Nexus to set up this. Let me just show you guys where I used my. So you can see this is Ashnode way of formatting the block. So this is a code block, a single line code block. So you can see it has all the colors. This platform supports it. So if I'm writing in other stuff, you can see this is a code block. You can see right here, it's going to this Ashnode way of formatting it. It's quite different from Stack Edit. So immediately you write a Markdown platform, they have like other functionalities, like some platform automatically identify, oh, this is a Python script, oh, this is a JS script, oh, this is that. They automatically then put it there. But this, I'm mostly working with AWS CLI, so and command line, so it's not really extensive. Like, let me see if I can show you guys um anything like Python. Yeah. Okay, this is Python. You can see this is Python. So this is Python script. This one article I wrote on Pandas. So you can see right here, it automatically like fetch out all of this information. So yeah, that's an example. I just wanted to show you guys that. So I'll just move on to the next subject we have for today, which is self-editing. Um, Let me just go to the next one. Ha. So can you guys see my screen? Just confirm me. Can you guys see it? Anyone? Just okay. I'll move on to the next topic then, which is self-editing. So imagine you've got your first draft of your article. How do you make it better? I mean, it goes with this concept that your first draft is not the better version of your article. Like, you need feedback, you need to look at it, you need to look at it intrinsically, like look at it like from this lens, like, okay, I've written my first draft. How is it good? Like, is it good enough? Am I communicating the right information to the audience? So in most cases, working towards a final published article is an iterative process. When I mean it's an iterative process, you write something, you preview it, you make some corrections, you look at it again. So transforming a blank page into a first draft is often the hardest step. So this means that the most hardest thing is like getting the first draft. Like, I think that's very hard for everybody. Like, if you write constantly, or you're looking to write, you know that ideas are not really easy to find, and even putting the ideas down are very hard. So after you write the first draft, make sure you set aside like plenty of time to refine your document. So some of the editing tips in this particular unit, I'll send this particular page of the Google technical writing course to you guys so you can have it. It's transforming this unit is to teach you how to turn your first draft into a document that is clearly communicates the information your audience needs. So you can use any of the tips here. So you can use anything that you know that is going to like communicate the agenda or the goal of your article to the audience. So first thing is that you need to have a style guide. Like, it's very much important. My own style guide is, by the time I finish writing my first article, the first draft, I check for like, are all the commands, are they working? So I check they are working. I then paraphrase anything. I don't make any sentence too long. I try to use bullet points. I'm sure that it taught you guys how to use bullet points. I try to use it so that it spells it out. And also, if I'm writing something on a code, I mostly use like prerequisites. So before, if you're coming into the technical the article, you have like things you need to have installed. So I use that as a guide. So I use prerequisites, I use like an introduction, and then use like the main body, then conclusion. That is my style guide. So yeah, so companies, organizations, large open source projects friendly adopt a style guide for their documentation. So you can use it. So if you're writing for a platform, they will give you the style guide. But if you're writing for your own personal blog, you can use Google Developers documentation style guide. You can just look into it. It's right here. But I've mentioned mine is just prerequisites, introduction, body, and conclusion. That's my own style guide. So some of the guidelines in some of the things that some of the tutors have taught you that using active voice, numbered list. I use numbered list a lot. I use bullet list. So if I use numbered list, if you have something that you must do, like for you to do this, you first of all do this, then the next step, then the next step, then the next step. But bullets list is like you don't have close relationship. Numbered lists are parallel. Bullet lists might not be so parallel. They are non-parallel most times. When I mean parallel, like let's say you want to get to a place. For example, if I want to get to Yaba, I need to take bus from this place to this place. Then I drop down this place. That's like a numbered list, like a sequential step of doing things. So the highlights introduce other techniques that might be useful. This is not necessary. Let's go to the next one. So first thing after you've known your style guide is like you have to think like your audience. When you're previewing your first draft, you need to know who your audience is. So step back, try to read your draft from their own point of view. So let's say you're writing for open source developers, or let's say you're writing for beginners in tech. You need to be sure that you yourself put yourself as a beginner, like try to see that okay, you're writing about pandas. What is pandas? You need to like do an introduction, link a particular documentation that explains what pandas is. Make sure that the purpose of your document is clear. Provide definitions of any terms or concept that they might be unfamiliar with. Beginners will know Python. Beginners might not know packages like scikit-learn. What is scikit-learn? The beginner will be like, oh, I don't know. But when you link like a documentation or you just do like a short intro of what scikit-learn is, and you link other resources. So my own way of doing things is by the time I introduce that thing, I now say read more here. So the person can click on that link. You see the way Google is doing it, like they are linking other stuff. Like if you don't know what an active voice is, the link is already there. You can just link into it. So it's much more introductory and it's bringing it to the beginner level that the person has every information they need. So it can be helpful to outline a persona for your audience, such as a role such as systems engineer, QA, and the end goal. What is the end goal of the article? Like restore the database. For me, let's say you want to like introduce them to pandas. So you will say the goal of this article is to teach how people can use pandas to load documents like CSV files or Excel files, something like that. So a set of assumptions about the persona and their knowledge and their experience. For example, you might want to assume that the person is familiar with Python, running a Linux system, comfortable with command line. If this person is not comfortable, this is where I use prerequisite. So I tell the person, okay, let's say you are not comfortable with command line. This is a document where you can learn command line before coming to my course. That's why a lot of platforms, or if you say a lot of technical articles, they have something called the prerequisite section. It states that these are all the things you need to follow along with my article. So yeah, so if it's Python, you would expect the person to be familiar with Python, like yeah, like imputing a variable, declaring a function, object, and all of that. So then you can then review your after specifying your audience, you can then review your draft with the persona in mind. So let's say you are writing for Python, beginners in Python. So you then know that okay, this person that I'm conveying my information to has knowledge in Python, even at the beginner level. You understand what variables mean, functions mean. It is very important for you to like put your beginners in mind for every assumption you've made. So don't just assume things, like know your audience, like know the audience rather. Know the audience than assuming that you know the audience. So I know I'm conflicting myself. Don't just assume that this person is going to be a Python developer. Don't just assume that this person is going to be a JS developer. Just imagine you don't state it out that in the prerequisite section that have it for a basic introduction in Python, or a Python 3 point something something will be used. Someone that is writing in Python 3.5 and you're using a recent module in 3.10 might be like, oh, I've never used this stuff. So you might explicitly say that, okay, you need to have like experience in this particular this, or you can learn about this thing, yeah, about the particular version of this thing using this link. So you can provide links to resources where they can learn more. This is where I'm also saying that providing links, you cannot know all your audiences, like, but you can narrow it down, and you can also connect them to like resources that make them like it makes it easy for them to learn about whatever you're introducing in your article. So uh not relying too heavily on personal or too can result in a document that is too narrowly focused to be useful to the majority of your users. So, like I've said, you can't cover everybody, and also you don't want to be too in depth. You want to create diversity. I know it's quite conflicting, but you need to find the middle ground between having a persona and providing resources as well. So the key thing is that once you know like three personas or two personas in mind, then for those that are not covered in your persona, try as much as possible whenever you're introducing like a new term, link resources to it. So that way, even though the person is not accustomed to the way like the term you're trying to introduce or the packages that you're trying to write about, or even anything you're trying to write about, they have like resources they can read additional information on. So you can also check out like more audience study like in this resource. So yeah, so the next step is read it loud out loud. Like this is very much important too, because depending on the context, the style of your writing can alienate, engage, or even bore your audience. So the desired style of a given document depends on the extent on the audience. So if your article is too boring, people will be like, ah, this thing is too long. Like sentences are too long. Like for me, I don't like long sentences. I'll just skim it through. Or I even like something that I'll just put like speech to text to speech. I just put it there and put it on 1.5 speed because it bores me out. So yeah, for example, the contributor guide for a new open source um, project aim to recruiter volunteers might adopt a more informal and conversational style, while developer for commercial enterprise application might adopt a more formal style. So for most open source documentation, they try to be much more beginner eccentric. When I mean beginner eccentric, they provide you with the introduction to the package, why people use the package, and a sample code whereby you can get started. But if you are using like commercial packages, they always say, okay, you're supposed to have experience in this. This is how to use our stuff. You get what I'm saying? Because they are more commercial. They expect you to have known some certain amount of things. So to check if your writing is conversational, read it out loud. So look for awkward phrasing, too long sentences, or anything that doesn't feel natural. So anything that feels like you yourself, just put yourself in their shoes. Like if this thing you are speaking big grammar in your article, would you yourself comprehend? So you have to break things down, make it as simple as possible. Also consider using a screen reader to voice the content. Like you can use there are so many like on my laptop I can just drag some of this and just like let me say speech, like you can start speaking, but some platforms don't give you this. If you're using like a Chrome browser or you're using it on your phone, we have speech text to speech, you can use that. So another strategy you can use is come back to your first draft. So I'm this kind of a person that the best way I know that I get like and that perspective is that once I've gone to have my bath, I come back, I come up with this new fresh of mind that okay, I'm seeing this thing from a different perspective. Even by the time I'm thinking about something, I see more perspective. Probably when I go out, I take a stroll, I come back, and I'm like, oh, okay, this makes sense now. Oh, this is the way I should have done this thing. So after you've written your first draft, just chillax, take a coffee, do anything you like doing, then come back to it. You come up with this new set of perspective of looking at it from a different angle. So after you've written your first draft or second or third, set it aside, come back to it after an hour or two, try to read it with fresh eyes. Like you see some things that you can definitely improve on. So change the context. So some writers need to like to print out their documentation or the article or review a paper copy or a red pencil in mind. I don't do this. So like for me, I just I try to just put it like if I'm writing on Markdown, I put it on a Google Doc. So maybe Google Doc will give me something special that I need to like see if this thing is too spaced together or jam packed together or something like that. So I just use like Markdown and Google Doc to um like switch from one template to another. So that's the way I change my own context. Some people like to write in paper. I have a friend that likes to like whenever before she publish anything, she writes it down in paper, then type it out, then look at it again if it's all matching. So yeah, you can you can You can change your context basically. So you can also find a peer editor. This is this is glorious. Like I every article I put out there, like I ensure that someone that is way more experienced than me check it out. Like ensure that people that like engineers or your peers that like they are into like even like writing articles, they check out, or people that you want to find someone that is your peer, or someone that is, if you can get someone that is way more experienced than you, that's awesome. Like that's very much awesome. You can like get them to give you feedback. And the person doesn't need to be a subject expert. Like some people, so many people that have asked that to review my articles that they don't even like. I write about Azure at times. So some of them do have like experience in Azure. They probably like just about web development. So they know the standard. Like they look at it. Okay, is this thing? If I'm someone that wants to learn about this thing, is it okay for me to pick it up and just start learning using your resource or your article? So yeah, they don't need to be a subject expert, but they need to just be familiar with the style guide you follow, or maybe the style guide that they feel like would be appropriate. So yeah, that's the last one. So yeah, I think that's quite some strategies I think you can use to like do a self editing or self reflection of your article to ensure that it's at the standard in which it's very simple for people to understand it, and also people can follow along as well. So we have an exercise here that so if you have a document, let's just assume you have a document that you're working on, and you can use any of these tips to make it better, like I've mentioned. So if you don't have a document, let's just use this exercise. So you guys can read up this thing and uh, tell me the best way we can make this like intuitive. I'm sure you guys have gone to you guys have gone like done a sample of how documents should look like. Like tell me if this is intuitive enough. If I'm a reader and I'm looking at this thing, is this good? Like you look at how look can I follow along, like determine whether or not from like I want feedback. If you're reading this thing online and you see how long it is like this, will you say this is a good style guide? With your audience follow you along? Anybody? Is this a good style? Is everybody there? uh Okay, it's not. So what do you think we can make do to make it better? Like what from your previous lessons, if you read through the sentences, what can we do to make it better? I would want someone to give me like a feedback before I show the answer. What can we do to make it better? Like how can we make it intuitive for people to follow along? Anybody, any idea? There are no wrong answers. Okay, no isn't. Now what's the solution? I want a solution. Shorter sentences. Some sentences are too long. Yeah, shorter sentences. Amazing. Good response. More people. What can we do? I can see something we can do. There's something we can do somewhere. Look at it sequentially. Is there anything we can, apart from shorter sentences, how can we make it more neater? That we don't remove the context, like the main information. Shorter sentences is a strategy, but there's one more thing I'm looking at. Add more paragraphs. Yeah, that's another strategy. Thank you, Chinaza. I guess we have 13 people on the call, so I expect more people to give more uh response. We can reduce the length of some sentences. Yeah, that's good. Yeah, these are good feedback. Thank you, Adeleke and Chinaza. So For me, let's look at the answers. So you can see, look at how lengthy this is, and what the person is just trying to convey is how you can uh like do these things. For me, I can break each one of these things to bullet points. So let's say it is important to make sure your document is edited by your audience, which people might. The first thing you need, some things can make first thing, some things you can do. I can break this part into like a bullet points. You can see. So the answer is to help your audience understand your document, apply these basic principles, use active voice, consider simpler words mean the same thing, include links, break sentences into shorter sentences or lists. These are the strategies you can use for this. For me, I prefer using like bullet points. If I see that something is too long and it's like a way of doing thing something, I'll just break it down into bullet points. Or that's one thing I do. And if I see that it's too long, I'll just say, I'll take like a paragraph, just like 2 lines. I use and explain it, and I say read more here. So read more here says that you probably read more information about that stuff that is more lengthy. But your own document, you are just giving like a summary. So trying to summarize something in just 2 to 3 lines, it's way more better than you can just link additional resources to it. So these are some of the strategies you can use. Like to me, I prefer break if it has to do with a way like you're trying to get someone to do something, you can use bullet points so that or if it's sequential, you can use like numbered bullet points like 1, 2, 3, 4. But if it's not sequential or parallel, you can just use bullet points so that people can know what to do. You install the package, you do this, you do that. So that's the way I say it. Yeah. Thank you, Temitope. Thank you, Shaloa. Thank you for yes, use bullet point pressures. You're correct. Yeah. So we've come to the end of today's class, and uh, I was able to cover like how to add code. Oh yeah, last one is how to add images. Yeah, yeah. That's the one I forgot that how to add images. I can't believe I forgot that. So I did explain how you can add code to um your your article. So now we have this. Now let's say you want to add images. Like so on Markdown, if you're just writing a Markdown like the file, if you want to add images, this platform I gave you here, if I come here, this is an image um uh option whereby you can add images. So if I click on it, you need to provide a URL for your image. I'm not even like this is a simpler way of writing. I'm going to explain to you how to write it with Markdown itself. So let's say I go to the internet, I just find like any image at all, like goat, and I look for the image. Or let's say Python. Let's look for that. I saw you can see my screen. I'm trying to grab a, an image address with Google. Let's see. So this is an image address for Python. It has the image link. You can copy any image link at all, and I just add this. But this particular platform has something that's also cool, like Stack Edit. It allows you to add Google Photos, like any picture that is on your Google Photo account can automatically be gotten into Stack Edit to input into your Markdown. So if I add this, I click on edit. Okay, it's add this Python image. Isn't that cool? So you can add this, but this is the template here. This is what is allowing you to like add the image. Let me just remove this comment. So this is the way. This is a way of adding images. So you use this shebang. This is the shebang. Like sorry, that's what it's called. Shebang. Is it exclamation? Is that an exclamation? Yeah, it's an exclamation. Sorry, shebang is different. My head is elsewhere this morning. So you can use this exclamation mark. Then you enter the description. Let's say Python image, and you close it. Then you open this stuff here when you open the stuff, you get your image link, so you can get anyone at all. So I have one here. I already have one here. So let me close this. I'm coming. Let me copy this. Coming. Copy the image link. I add it. You can see this image link, and I close it. So automatically it uploads the image. It's not uploading the image, it previews the image rather. You notice one thing. For you to add images, you need the URL of that image. Markdown doesn't have anything to do with it's a file. You can't upload images to it, but you need that URL for it to show. So you use the exclamation mark, you put the parentheses, this is the description. It's very good to add description. So you can do this picture. That is just a description, and you open it. This is where the link goes into. This particular bracket is where the link goes into. So you can copy any link. You can store your image anywhere. Most times I use Google Drive. Let me see if I can share my entire screen. Just a minute. Um, so that I can show you one of the best practices I use. So I use Google Drive. For example, let's say I go to Google Drive, because I really want to show you guys how to do these things. So it's easier. I go to Google Drive. You can, let's see, there's a way you can also, like, let me see if I can upload a picture. I don't know if I can do that. File upload. Let me see if I have a picture on my Mac. Okay, I think I have one. Okay, I have a picture. Okay, I'm uploading a picture right now. Let's see. So this is a picture I just uploaded on Google Drive. Let's see. I think Google Photos might be better, because with Google Drive you might not be able to see the pictures. Let me see. Share. Anyone will link. Let's see. I copy. Let's see if it's going to work. Okay, it didn't work. So you need to use Google Photos. Let me use Google Photos then. I think Google Photos is better. Let's come here. Add my Google Photos account. Let me add this. These are this to keep your Google block this access. That's quite strange. Photos. Let me see. Let me see if I can use an image Google Photos. Let me see. Quite weird. Let me just grab something. Images. So this usually works. I'm a little bit surprised they've removed it. So one way you can do it is that you need a place where you can store your pictures and you can fetch it, like using the link. Google Drive has removed like the access of doing that. I think you can use Dropbox or something else. So you need to get that link, and you then need to put it here. So you use the exclamation mark, put the description of the image. Is an alt. If you're familiar with alt, like a way of, like, if the image doesn't load, what's it about? So if I copy this, I come to this pandas, I copy the image address. Let me see, and I put it here. It works because I'm fetching directly from the internet. But if you have your own custom images, you might need to upload like to Google Photos and get it, like copy the link, or you can upload to it. I'm not sure drives work, but I'll search for the command and pass it up to you guys. But platform like Ashnode, do something that is very amazing, like or Medium or any platform you are using, you don't need to probably like this is because I'm using a web-based editor. Like everything is like from scratch. So if I'm writing a stuff right now, if I just do let me see, and I do this, let me see if I can add images. It's been a while I've written on Upnote. Might be after even there. Uh, sorry. Wow, a lot of things have changed. Probably. You still need to add your images somewhere. Previously, Ashnote allows you to like upload your images, but I guess that's the idea. They want you to like store your images elsewhere, and you get the link, the image address. You come to Ashnote, you do the same basically too. I think. Or let's see. Or another thing I do is using something called like a screenshot, and I copy it. Let me show you guys. So if you're on your this system, you screenshot that particular image. Let's say I come here now, for example. I copy the image address of this, and I just go to Ashnote and add it. And I preview. Oh, let me go back. That's not allow me to write on Ash. I just paste it. Image. Let's see. It should allow me to write in Markdown. This is not in Markdown yet. Okay, raw Markdown editor. Amazing. So I can do that. Let's just do the shebang or exclamation mark. I think I'm still getting to shebang. I do this and I preview. Yeah, it comes up. So you can do that. You can also on Ashnote, you can do that. You can do it on Medium too. So you can see, you can preview. So this is good. I mean, very good. So let me say if I go to the internet, if I just screenshot anything, I can just copy it and paste it also into like this Ashnote. So any web editor you're using to write your article, they obviously have like a place where you can upload the images and fetch it from there. But if you're writing like on your VS Code, you need to explicitly put the URL of the image, and you use this, let's say, this GitHub access. I can just put GitHub access. And if this is missing, let's say something is missing, you just put the name. You see, if the image can load, you just say GitHub access. So it's a good way to put the description of the image and also put the link. Yeah, that's it. So I think I can stop sharing now. Does anybody have any other question? Like question time? Are you confused about anything? Or what? Do you understand how to put code into your article, code blocks, images, as well as doing a self edit, like a reflection of your drafts as well? I just want to get feedback. So if you have any question, you can put it in the comment section so that I can answer them. Or you can also put it on the WhatsApp channel that we have. You can on the platform as well. You can put any question you have there. So I think that's the most important thing. So I'll also drop the link to all of the resources so that you guys can have it. Link to Stack Edit, the article that I was using to teach how to add your code as well. And yeah, I think that's it for my end. So if you guys have any question, I'll just take it right now. Anybody? Oh, I guess we're all good then. So if there are no questions, yeah, thank you so much, Inaza. Thank you for being interactive. Sorry, I stole some parts of your weekend. I prefer teaching during the weekend, so I apologize if I inconvenienced uh, any of you guys. I felt like weekend would be better for me to take you guys extensively. And yeah, thank you so much for everybody for joining the session. I appreciate you guys. And if you have any questions, please reach out to me on WhatsApp or drop your message on WhatsApp. I would surely look at it. I'll pass across all of the resources so you guys can have it. And one thing is that don't be afraid to put out your first article. Like you have to start from somewhere. So all of the assignment that's been given during the session, I would appreciate you guys participate heavily so you can get something tangible to showcase that you've participated in this program as well. So thank you so much, and I will put it. Yes, Adeleke, I will put it. Thank you um for reminding me. Take care, everyone. Bye.